Firebrand is noun. A person who advocates for or engages in extreme or radical action or behavior. A torch or other source of flame used for lighting or as a weapon. The political firebrand gave a fiery speech that roused the crowd to action. The coach was a firebrand who motivated his team to push themselves to the limit. The activist was a firebrand who fought tirelessly for social justice and equality. The newspaper editor was a firebrand who wasn't afraid to take on controversial issues and challenge the status quo. The firebrand preacher inspired his congregation to live according to their faith and make a positive impact on the world.
Martinet as noun, a person who strictly adheres to rules and regulations and enforces them harshly. The new boss was a real martinet, always insisting on strict adherence to company policies and procedures. The drill sergeant was known as a martinet, pushing his soldiers to their physical limits in order to toughen them up. The headmistress was a real martinet, enforcing strict rules on dress code, punctuality, and behavior in her school. The orchestra conductor was a martinet, demanding absolute precision and perfection from his musicians, even during long and grueling rehearsals. The coach was a martinet when it came to training, pushing his athletes to work harder and longer than they ever thought possible.
Stipend is noun. A regular or fixed payment made to a person, especially for work or services rendered. A sum of money paid as a salary or allowance, typically to a student or trainee. The fellowship offered a monthly stipend to cover living expenses. The research assistantship came with a stipend and tuition waiver. The intern received a small stipend for their work. The artist was paid a stipend to create a mural for the city. The scholarship included a generous stipend for research expenses. Conducive as adjective. Helpful or beneficial in achieving a certain goal or objective, tending to bring about or facilitate a certain outcome or result. A quiet environment is conducive to studying. A positive attitude is conducive to success. A healthy diet is conducive to good health. A well-lit workspace is conducive to productivity. Good communication is conducive to a healthy relationship. Lassitude as noun. A state of boredom, listlessness, or disinterest. A feeling of being uninterested or unmotivated. A state of physical or mental tiredness or weakness. Lack of energy or vitality. After working long hours, she felt a deep sense of lassitude and exhaustion. The patient's lassitude and lack of appetite suggested a possible illness. The lassitude of the economy was felt by many businesses struggling to survive. She struggled to get out of bed due to a sense of lassitude that weighed her down. The heat and humidity of the day left him in a state of lassitude. Ostentatious as adjective. Displaying wealth, status, or achievements in an excessive or flashy way. Gaudy. Showy or pretentious in an attempt to impress others. Flamboyant or over the top. The ostentatious mansion was a symbol of the owner's wealth. The celebrity's ostentatious outfit drew attention on the red carpet. His ostentatious lifestyle was seen as excessive and wasteful. The company's ostentatious marketing campaign was criticized for being insensitive. The politician's ostentatious display of power was seen as arrogant. Temerity as noun. Excessive confidence or boldness, especially when accompanied by disregard for the consequences or risks involved. Foolhardiness or recklessness in the face of danger or difficulty. He had the temerity to criticize his boss in front of the entire staff. The burglar had the temerity to break into the house while the family was still inside. The politician had the temerity to suggest raising taxes in the middle of an economic downer. She had the temerity to ask her strict teacher for an extension on the deadline. The comedian's temerity in making jokes about sensitive topics often stirred controversy. Enamored is adjective. Deeply or strongly in love with someone or something. Filled with or characterized by intense feelings of love or admiration. She was enamored with the beautiful scenery and spent hours taking photographs. The audience was enamored by the captivating performance of the talented musician. He became enamored with the idea of starting his own business and dedicated himself to making it a reality. The child was enamored with a new toy and couldn't stop playing with it. She was enamored with her favorite actor and had posters of him all over her room. Exemplify, to illustrate or demonstrate by example, to serve as a clear and typical example of a particular quality or thing. His behavior exemplifies the values of the organization. The way she handled the situation exemplifies good judgment. The success of the project exemplifies teamwork and collaboration. The museum's collection exemplifies the diversity of the region's art. The teacher used a real-life example to exemplify the concept. Entrenched as adjective. Difficult to change due to being firmly established or deeply rooted. Firmly established, deeply rooted, or ingrained, often referring to ideas, practices, or attitudes. The company's policies were deeply entrenched and resistant to change. His beliefs were so entrenched that he refused to consider alternative perspectives. The political ideologies became entrenched over generations, resisting modifications. The culture of the community was entrenched in tradition and history. The practices of the organization were deeply entrenched in its founding principles. Amiable is adjective. It implies a sense of likability, warmth, and cordiality. Means friendly, sociable, and good-natured. She had an amiable personality that made everyone feel at ease. The neighbors were amiable and always willing to lend a helping hand. The restaurant had an amiable atmosphere that made it a popular spot for locals. The dog had an amiable disposition and loved to be around people. He greeted his colleagues with an amiable smile every morning. Quixotic as adjective. Idealistic and unrealistic, characterized by impracticable or extravagantly chivalrous romantic ideas. Impulsive, having impractical plans or actions. The plan to build a utopian society in the desert was considered quixotic. His quixotic dreams of becoming a famous actor were unrealistic. She embarked on a quixotic mission to save the endangered species. He had a quixotic idea that he could change the world with his music. The company's quixotic attempt to sell their product to aliens was met with ridicule. Hector as verb. To act in an overbearing or threatening manner towards someone. To intimidate or bully someone, especially through the use of size or strength. The bully liked to hector his classmates, making fun of them and teasing them relentlessly. The boss would hector his employees until they got the job done. She would hector her husband until he agreed to go on vacation. The coach would hector his players during practice until they improved their skills. The teacher would hector her students until they completed their assignments on time.
Taxing as verb. Imposing a tax or duty on someone or something. Making excessive or unreasonable demands on someone's physical or mental resources. Working two jobs is taxing on one's physical and mental health. The government's new policy is taxing on small businesses and startups. The teacher found it taxing to grade a large number of essays in a short amount of time. His parents' divorce was taxing on the teenager's emotional well-being. Training for a marathon can be taxing on one's endurance and stamina.
Elegiac as adjective, expressing sorrow or mourning, relating to or characterized by mourning or a lament. The poet's elegiac verses expressed his sorrow and grief. The music had an elegiac quality, evoking a sense of loss and longing. The novel had an elegiac tone, reflecting on the passing of time and the changes it brings. The painting's elegiac mood captured the melancholic beauty of a fading landscape. The film's elegiac ending left the audience with a feeling of bittersweet nostalgia. Sardonic as adjective, characterized by bitterness or irony, often with a sneering or mocking tone, having or showing a disdainful or mocking attitude or manner. The comedian's sardonic wit was a hit with audiences who appreciated his dry humor. Her sardonic smile suggested that she was not impressed by what she saw. The sardonic tone of his voice made it clear that he was not happy with the situation. The article's sardonic take on the political situation was both insightful and humorous. His sardonic comments belied a deeper sense of disappointment and frustration. Squelch as verb, to silence or suppress a sound, especially by damping or muffling it, to suppress or crush suddenly and forcefully. The teacher squelched the student's attempt to cheat on the exam. The coach squelched the rumors about the team's poor performance by giving a confident statement. The parent squelched the child's tantrum by distracting him with a toy. The host squelched the awkward silence at the dinner party by starting a conversation. The company squelched the negative feedback by deleting the comments from their website. Recrimination as noun, a criticism or censure made in response to another, an accusation made in return for one received. After the argument, there were recriminations on both sides, with each person blaming the other. The failed project led to recriminations among the team members, with each person pointing fingers at the others. The divorce was messy, with accusations and recriminations flying back and forth. The political campaign was marred by recriminations and mudslinging, with each candidate attacking the other's character. The company's financial troubles led to recriminations among the management team, with each person trying to deflect blame. Preclude as verb, to exclude or eliminate the possibility of, especially by closing off or blocking a path or an option. To prevent or make impossible, especially by prior action or by setting limits or conditions. The company's policy precludes employees from using company resources for personal gain. The lock on the door precludes anyone without a key from entering the room. The teacher's strict rules preclude any misbehavior in the classroom. The high cost of tuition precludes many students from attending college. The rain precluded us from having our picnic in the park. Cohesive as adjective, forming a united whole, holding or sticking together firmly. The team had a very cohesive strategy, with everyone working together towards a common goal. The film was praised for its cohesive storyline and well-developed characters. The group of friends had a very cohesive dynamic, with everyone being supportive and communicative with each other. A cohesive mixture of flour and water is necessary to make the perfect dough for bread. The cohesive properties of the glue made it ideal for fixing broken ceramics. Ready to boost your English or ace the GRE? Meet the GRE Vocabulary app, a fun and effective way to master language. Learn advanced words with examples and audio. Master idioms, proverbs, and phrasal verbs. Enjoy quizzes, flashcards, and pronunciation tests. Customize your practice by difficulty or focus. Translate into 100+ languages with ease. Did you learn new words? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Download now and start your journey to vocabulary mastery.